The entire story has concluded. Without me, Liu Ryan, the heavens would not exist. The world would remain in eternal darkness. Liu Ryan reminds you to connect to Wi-Fi. Prepare your chips. Send some free little flowers. The completed story begins now. The first year of Liu Ryan's infidelity. Her male assistant would send me a photo of their intimacy every day. Each photo meant another time they were together. Everyone despised me, convinced I would endure it for the money. But on the 10th anniversary of my marriage with Liu Ryan, she received my very first video. When you see this video, I will already be dead. I wanted her to spend the rest of her life living in guilt. With 3 months until our 10th anniversary, the doctor told me I had only 3 months left. It had already been a year since Liu Ryan's affair began. I still remembered her words to me as if spoken yesterday. Boder, we will be together forever. Ren, I will never betray you. But this woman who claimed to love me so much betrayed me with her male assistant. On the 9th anniversary of our marriage, Liu Ryan thought she could hide it from me, not realizing her choice of assistant was so disobedient. In the end, it reached my ears, so in the final months of my life battling cancer, I decided to prepare a gift for Liu Ryan. I gathered all the medical reports and placed them in a folder. I started recording videos. Till the day of our 10th anniversary, she would only see the first video I made for her, along with the messages sent by her male assistant and my medical reports. I wanted her to live in guilt forever, to never forget me. There were only 1 month and 20 days left until my death. Liu Ryan still didn't know I was sick. She only frowned and commented on how much thinner I'd gotten recently. I smiled at her. I've been dieting lately. Liu Ryan didn't approve. Don't overdo it, Boder. Today is Dad's birthday. Come back to the old house with me, alright? I nodded and agreed. But as I went downstairs, I saw someone already sitting in the car. Junyi greeted me with a smile. Brother Bo, President Liu asked me to join you. When he noticed I didn't move, he deliberately asked, Brother Bo, are you going to take the front seat? I shook my head. Just as I was about to speak, Liu Ryan got into the car herself. He gets carsick. Boda, why don't you sit in the back? I opened the back door and got in, not missing the triumphant smile on Chen Junyi's face. Midway through the drive, Chen Junyi suddenly opened the armrest compartment and out fell a used strawberry-flavored ultra-thin condom. Liu Ryan saw it first. She quickly glanced at me through the rearview mirror. Seeing my calm expression, she scolded Chen Junyi, saying, next time, don't use my car again. Then, she explained to me, Boder, I lent the car to Chen Junyi a while ago. I had no idea he'd use my car for this kind of thing. Chen Junyi also chimed in. Sorry, Brother Bo. My girlfriend and I got carried away, and I forgot to throw it away. After saying that, he turned to me with a cryptic smile. Brother Bo, you're not upset, are you? I shook my head, no. I knew he was doing it on purpose, because 2 days earlier, he had sent me photos. The main characters were none other than him and Liu Ryan. Brother Bo, President Liu says I'm really good, but are you? It's been a while since you two shared a bed, hasn't it? Liu Ryan's lies were too transparent to hide from me. When we arrived at the Liu family estate, many guests were already there. Liu Ryan took me along to greet Old Master Liu. Old Master Liu had never liked me. Naturally, his expression soured when he saw me. Why do you look so lifeless? Are you here to ruin my mood? Liu Ryan held my hand tightly, rushing to defend me. Dad, Boda just hasn't been resting well. Old Master Liu scoffed. If you haven't rested well, don't come next time. Come back only when you're well rested. In front of everyone, he showed me no respect whatsoever, but I was used to it. If it weren't for the video recordings, I wouldn't have come. But what I didn't expect was that Chen Junyi also brought a gift. Old Master Liu looked at Chen Junyi with satisfaction. Our Ryan should be with an outstanding young man like you. Look at how well you match standing together. He gestured towards them. Chen Junyi glanced at me awkwardly, but smirked nonetheless. The guests whispered among themselves, all commenting on how this son-in-law was clearly not favored by old Master Liu. Otherwise, why would he openly express his dissatisfaction with me? I didn't mind any of this after the birthday greetings. Liu Ryan pulled me to the swing in the backyard, Boater. That's just how my dad is. Don't take it to heart, it's fine. She tried to comfort me. She had always been like this, afraid that I'd feel mistreated by her family. Every time she brought me back to her family home, she would stay close to my side. Whenever some relatives mocked me, laughing at her for marrying a live-in son-in-law, Liu Ryan would stand up for me and even fall out with those relatives for my sake. Boater, you're my husband. If I don't protect you, who will? I used to joke about it, saying I'd become her little wife, but now she could also bring someone like Junyi along, so I truly couldn't tell if she loved me or not. At this moment, Liu Ryan's phone rang. She glanced at it briefly and said to me, Boater, I need to handle something. Feel free to walk around the estate. I'll be right back. Okay, alright. 10 minutes after Liu Ryan left, I received a video call request. The scene was set in the bathroom. The protagonists, my wife and Chen Junyi. As soon as they entered, they kissed passionately. Chen Junyi lifted Liu Ryan onto the sink, engaging in the most intimate acts between a couple. He glanced toward the camera intentionally or unintentionally, whispering into Liu Ryan's ear, President Liu, am I better or is your husband? Liu Ryan, already lost in the moment, responded breathlessly, You're the best. Then, do you love me or him? I love you. I didn't watch any further. I turned off the video. The countless intimate photos I had received over the past year had long numbed my heart. I thought back to the first photo, the despair and pain I felt then. Now, I just smiled indifferently. A sharp pain shot through my stomach, and I crouched on the ground for a long time before I could stand. I turned on the camera under the swing in the backyard and recorded my first video. Ryan, when you watch this video, I will already be dead. I spoke my opening lines. Do you still remember this swing? The first time you brought me home to meet your father. He didn't like me. He mocked me. He humiliated me. But it was you who held my hand, declaring firmly that you would marry me. Under this swing, we vowed to be together forever. Despite the pain leaving me pale-faced, I continued, but you seem to have forgotten. Ryan, I'm in so much pain. I don't know how we ended up like this. Ryan, even after seeing everything you and Chen Junyi did in the bathroom, I could only pretend as if nothing had happened. Because I still love you. After I'm gone, please don't be sad. Facing the camera, I spoke with deep affection. Of course, it was tinged with the sorrow of betrayal. After turning off my phone, my face, twisted with pain, had no trace of affection or grief in my eyes. I glanced at the video, whispering silently in my heart, You absolutely must feel sorrow. I want you to remember me forever, to always remember your betrayal. I want you to carry guilt for a lifetime. There are only 1 month and 10 days left until my death. To celebrate a major deal at the company, Liu Ryan booked a private room at a club for drinks and karaoke. Boda, come join us. I didn't want to go, but Chen Junyi pulled me into the car. Brother Bo, you should experience the life of young people once in a while. When we arrived at the private room, everyone was playing Truth or Dare after a few drinks. Liu Ryan lost. Chen Junyi started jeering, The loser has to drink a shot of whiskey. But since President Liu's husband is here, Brother Bo, surely you won't let her take the punishment, right? The entire room erupted into applause, egging me on to drink. Liu Ryan smiled at me, while her colleagues also watched, waiting for my reaction. I shook my head and refused. I can't drink alcohol. I could see Liu Ryan's face instantly darken. Chen Junyi laughed loudly. President Liu, it seems your husband doesn't love you that much, huh? He's not even willing to drink for you. Liu Ryan forced a smile. Boda might not be feeling well, although her words were meant to defend me. I knew. She was upset. Chen Junyi smirked, hooking his arm around my neck and pushing the glass to my lips. Brother Bo, don't be so uptight. Loosen up. The entire glass of whiskey was forced into my stomach. Already uncomfortable, the pain in my stomach became unbearable. I bent over, coughing until my face turned red. Throughout all of this, Liu Ryan didn't intervene. When she saw how much I was suffering, she merely told me, if you're not feeling well, just go home. Staggering, I left the private room. With trembling hands, I dialed for an ambulance. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. My attending physician turned out to be my college classmate. Seeing me awake, he scolded me without holding back. Boda, are you trying to kill yourself? With your stomach condition, you dared to drink alcohol? Do you even know? As he spoke, his eyes turned red. He choked up, unable to continue. Don't worry, it's not a big deal, I said weakly. He glared at me and tossed my phone onto the bed. Who's worried? Look for yourself. It's been ringing all night. When I took the phone, a small part of me couldn't help but feel hopeful. I thought it would be Liu Ryan looking for me. But what I saw were nothing but a few news alerts and pictures sent by Chen Junyi. They had gone to a hotel last night and didn't come back until morning. Liu Ryan had sent me a message. Boda, something urgent came up at the company. I need to stay late at work. I might not come back tonight. Be good and sleep early. Exhausted, I closed my eyes. After spending one day in the hospital, I decided to discharge myself. My friend yelled at me from behind. Boda, take it easy. I don't want to end up dealing with your funeral. I waved at him. Without turning back, Liu Ryan didn't come home until the evening. The moment she saw me, she was startled. By now, my face was sunken, and much of my hair had fallen out. Only then did she seem to notice something was wrong. With concern, she asked Boda, are you sick? I wanted to say no, but she grabbed my arm, insisting on taking me to the hospital. Just then, her phone rang again. Boda, I need to go on a business trip. I might not be able to go to the hospital with you. Make sure you go by yourself tomorrow. Okay. I forced a smile and said, I know. Don't worry. She gave a brief reply, glanced back at me before leaving. Remember, alright? Liu Ryan, if you knew that this was the last chance to learn about my illness, would you regret it? I went to the campus where Liu Ryan and I studied during our university days. Next to the dormitory, there's a small grove of trees. Couples used to sneak there for dates. I walked along, counting the trees, and stopped under the one at the farthest end. There, I recorded my second video. I crouched down, using a small shovel I had brought to dig into the soil beneath the tree. A small metal box emerged. Inside it was the 10-year pact Liu Ryan and I made when we first got together. The youthful, innocent faces on the paper were filled with dreams for the future. Boda, 10 years from now, let's come back here and dig this box up. We'll have so many more decades together. Liu Ryan, I can't wait for even one more year. I can't wait for 10 years. Facing the camera, I place my medical reports, along with the photos and messages sent by Chen Junyi, all printed and placed into the box. Ryan, this is my gift to you. Ryan, there will be no next decade for us. After finishing, I had no strength left. Bent over and coughing, all I saw in my palms was the blood I spat out. There is 1 month left until my death. That night, I received a message from Chen Junyi. Liu Ryan's so-called business trip was merely a vacation with him. They went to the beach, climbed mountains, and kissed among the clouds. Like a perfect couple. For the first time, I replied to Chen Junyi. It's beautiful. I hope you two are happy. Then, I sent Liu Ryan a message. Ryan, I have something to take care of back in my hometown. Liu Ryan didn't reply. She was probably too busy vacationing with Chen Junyi. I removed the SIM card from my phone and tossed it into the trash. With my suitcase, I left the home I had lived in for nearly a decade. But I didn't go back to my hometown. When I was 10 years old, my parents had already passed away. My uncles refused to take care of me, so they sent me to an orphanage. Being small and weak, I was often bullied there. Because of these experiences, I grew up with a lonely and withdrawn heart, but I still longed for love. So when Liu Ryan extended her hand to me, on that rainy night, I fell for her completely. I made her my support, my everything. But I forgot one thing. Nobody can be someone else's support forever. Li Hao took leave from work and said he wanted to accompany me for a walk. I knew he just wanted to spend my remaining days with me. By now, I was incredibly thin, and I kept vomiting blood along the way. I thought, if it weren't for him by my side, I might have died somewhere on the road. Li Hao took me to the seaside. The vast, endless ocean calmed my heart. I stretched out my arms, and Li Hao wanted to take a picture of me. I refused. Aside from those few videos, I don't need anything else. I don't want to leave any trace of my existence. Li Hao rolled his eyes at me. Not even for me. It's so ugly anyway. Forget it. Li Hao agreed. But I knew. He secretly took a picture. I pretended not to notice, letting him take me to see more places. In nearly 10 years of marriage with Liu Ryan, I had never gone on a trip. Liu Ryan was career-driven. After we got married, she threw herself into her work. To ensure she had no worries, I became a stay-at-home husband. And I stayed in that role for a full 10 years. Now that my life was nearing its end, if I didn't step out now, it would truly feel like my life had been in vain. There are 15 days left until my death. I can no longer walk. I can't even eat. Li Hao gives me daily nutrient injections. When the pain comes, I wish I could just die immediately. Li Hao, usually carefree and casual, has been unusually cautious these past few days. Today, the sunshine was beautiful. I asked Li Hao to help me sit up. I recorded my third video. Ryan, when you see this video, you should have already come to terms with the fact that I am gone. At last, I won't disturb you two anymore. You must be very happy now. I always thought we'd go out and explore the world together. But after 10 years, it's still just me going out on my own in the end. Ryan, I never expected the pain to be this bad at the end. It really hurts so much. I really can't bear to leave you. Ryan, I don't think I can wait for you any longer. I wanted her to know that while she and Chen Junyi were traveling the world, I was struggling in the hospital, waiting painfully for her return. Saying so much at once made me incredibly tired. Li Hao helped me lie down, rest for a while. Don't speak anymore. I closed my eyes, my consciousness already fading. I didn't know if I had responded to him, but vaguely remembered, murmuring a soft thank you. I left him a bank card containing all my savings from these years. It was my way of thanking him for staying by my side during my final days. On the day of Liu Ryan and my 10th anniversary, I didn't expect to still be alive, but I was already unconscious, my breath weak, only able to lie on the bed, listening to Li Hao's endless chatter. Liu Ryan has gone crazy looking for you. I've never seen her like that before. But to me, she deserves it. Li Hao talked about many things. probably to make me feel better. He described everything so vividly. On our anniversary day, Liu Ryan finally returned. After I had been missing for a month, she wasn't even worried. She assumed that even if I were angry, she could coax me back with a few sweet words, and I'd forgive her. So on this day, she invited many people to give me a surprise. She had prepared my favorite flowers and a watch she and Chen Junyi brought back from their travels. She pushed open the door, expecting to see me welcoming her home, but as soon as she entered, the house was eerily empty, as if no one had lived there for a long time. Chen Junyi smirked maliciously. "Ryan, what's going on? Do you think he got mad at you for being gone so long and left home on purpose?" Liu Ryan frowned, clearly displeased, but still replied, "No. He told me he went back to his hometown. Maybe he just hasn't returned yet." Her heart raced. Suddenly, she realized I hadn't replied to her messages for a long time. She quickly tried calling me, only to be met with the message, "This number is no longer in service." Liu Ryan refused to believe it. She called again, but the result was the same. She then tried sending me a message, but there would be no reply from me ever again. Liu Ryan finally panicked. She dropped everything, rushed upstairs to the bedroom, where we had spent 10 years together. But there, all my belongings were gone. Not a single trace of me remained. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She opened the closet. Not even a pair of socks was left behind. "No, this can't be happening. Boda, where are you? Why?" she muttered to herself. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message. Liu Ryan hesitated, her hands trembling, afraid to open it. It seemed like she mustered all her courage before opening the email. It was the first video I had sent her. Liu Ryan stood frozen, maintaining the same posture as she watched the video to the end. Even by the end, she couldn't fully comprehend its content. She only knew one thing: Boda was dead. The man who had promised to be with her for a lifetime was gone. Liu Ryan ran downstairs like a madwoman. No one could understand what had happened. And then my second video arrived. Just as Chen Junyi was about to ask her what was wrong, Liu Ryan pushed him aside and ran out. She drove her Maybach, running through 5 red lights before arriving on campus. Perhaps she moved too hastily, because she fell. But the woman who always feared pain quickly got up, running toward the small grove. The soil I had disturbed last time was still fresh, without tools. Her manicured hands desperately dug into the dirt. Dirt covered her polished nails, and blood seeped from her fingers. But she seemed entirely numb to the pain. Finally, she uncovered the box. Liu Ryan pulled the metal box out of the ground, blood dripping onto its surface, leaving stains that couldn't be wiped clean. At that moment, Chen Junyi arrived. Seeing her disheveled state, he was both surprised and indifferent. President Liu, if he loves throwing tantrums so much, let him throw them. Why are you letting yourself become like this because of a man? Before he finished speaking, Liu Ryan, who had been crouching on the ground, suddenly stood up and slapped him hard across the face. In her hand, she held my medical reports and the intimate photos and taunting messages that Chen Junyi had sent to me. Her eyes red with anger, Liu Ryan questioned him. "Who gave you the right to send these things to him? Who do you think you are? What makes you think you're qualified to replace him? This is all your fault. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been clueless about his illness." Chen Junyi was stunned by the slap. Only then did he realize that Liu Ryan had discovered everything he had done. Panicked, he tried to explain. "President Liu, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I just love you too much. I can't accept it. What does he have that I don't? How can he stay by your side? He's just a poor nobody. But I'm different. I'm young. I'm capable. President Liu, I just love you too much. Please forgive me." Liu Ryan laughed and cried simultaneously, as if swayed by his words. But she wasn't. At that moment, My third video arrived. Just as Chen Junyi thought his words had softened Liu Ryan, she slapped him again, even harder. Scam! Liu Ryan glared at him with intense fury. Soon, someone arrived to drag Chen Junyi away from the campus. The sound of Chen Junyi's screams echoed in the air. Liu Ryan crouched on the ground, clutching her phone. She covered her face, crying bitterly. How did it come to this? Boda! How much pain were you in? How much did you suffer? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? I'm such a fool. While you were in the hospital, suffering in agony, I was out. Liu Ryan wept uncontrollably, as if the whole world had abandoned her. But what use is regret now? In this world, how often is there room for regret? I was still alive, sustained by daily for drips. Li Hao continued to talk to me every day. I could hear him, but I couldn't respond. He spoke most often about how Liu Ryan had gone mad, searching every funeral home in the city, and finding no record of my death. So she scoured the world for me. Li Hao sighed, Boder. You know how determined Liu Ryan can be. She find you sooner or later. And by the way, who wants your money? Keep your stupid card. Who knows, maybe one day you'll wake up. He would ramble by my bedside every day. If I could speak, I'd definitely tell him to shut up. He's just too noisy. In the end, Liu Ryan found me. Li Hao tried to stop her from entering, but she had her bodyguards drag him out. I could sense that the room was now just her and me. She walked to my bedside, her cold hand gently touching my face. I could feel her hand trembling. Boda! How did you end up like this? Although I couldn't see what I looked like now, I knew that before falling into a coma, I was already skin and bones, with all my hair gone. After lying in bed for so long, my appearance must have become even more unbearable to look at. I heard Liu Ryan crying, Boda! I finally found you. Do you know how much pain I felt when I saw the videos you sent me? Boda! I was wrong. It's my fault I let you down. Please wake up, okay? We still have so many decades ahead of us. You can't just sleep like this forever. Liu Ryan's words were filled with regret, each one soaked in tears as she expressed her sorrow and guilt. She held my hand, speaking for a long time, from how we first met, to falling in love, to getting married. But none of it mattered to me anymore. Her warm tears fell onto my hand, bringing a fleeting warmth. Liu Ryan ordered people to carry me away. Li Hao tried to stop her. He's already like this. Can't you just leave him in peace? Liu Ryan refused to listen. The conditions here are too poor. I'll find better doctors to treat him. Li Hao sneered. Isn't it a little too late for that now? When he was sick, where were you? He became this thin. Didn't you even notice? A look of shame and regret crossed Liu Ryan's face. Yes, I had become so thin, so frail. How could she not have noticed? But she was too preoccupied with her affair with Junyi, immersed in the thrill of her illicit relationship. Liu Ryan, you're such a pretender. That single sentence stripped away all of Liu Ryan's facade. She suddenly became hysterical. So what? Boda is my husband. I must take him away. No one can stop me. Liu Ryan was as domineering as ever. Li Hao had no way to stop her. Perhaps, deep down, he also hoped that Liu Ryan could somehow save me. Liu Ryan sought out the world's top specialists to treat me. But every response was the same. He cannot be cured. Although the cancer hasn't continued to spread, he doesn't have much time left. That he's still alive now is already a miracle. Liu Ryan lost her mind, cursing them as worthless quacks. She exhausted every possible means to save me, and perhaps out of pity, heaven granted another miracle. I woke up. That night, Liu Ryan cried like a child. After so long without speaking, my voice was so hoarse it was barely audible. Liu Ryan held me tightly, crying and pleading for me not to leave her. Boda, please recover quickly. We still have a lifetime to be together. Summoning all my strength, I told her word by word, Liu Ryan, I don't want to spend a lifetime with you anymore. Let me go. Liu Ryan shook her head desperately. Boda, no, I know you're angry, but I've already broken things off with him. I promise you, I will never betray you again. I closed my eyes, ignoring her hysteria, and said two sentences. I'm so very tired. As for the rest, I didn't want to say another word to her. Liu Ryan knelt by my bedside, begging me. Boda, please look at me. I'm begging you. Don't treat me like this, please. Boda, I'm crying so much. Why won't you even look at me? In the past, whenever she showed even the slightest sign of distress, I would always comfort her. In the 10 years we were together, I had never let her shed a single tear. I couldn't bear to, but now, in just a matter of days, Liu Ryan had cried enough tears to make up for 10 years. Seeing this, I felt no heartache for her. Besides talking to me daily, Liu Ryan spent the rest of her time by my bedside, handling company affairs. But today, she was suddenly called away by a phone call. Almost as soon as she left, a shadow slipped into the hospital room. He effortlessly lifted me into a wheelchair. His face was masked, but how could I not recognize him? It was Chen Junyi. I didn't call out, partly because I had no strength, and partly because I had already lived enough. I wanted to see what he would do. Chen Junyi took me to an abandoned warehouse. It was only then that I noticed one of his legs was crippled. Seeing me staring at him, he removed his mask. See, this is your wife's masterpiece. That wretched woman, it was her who couldn't resist temptation and got involved with me. But after watching those ridiculous videos you sent, she blamed everything on me. Look at my leg now. I can't find a job anywhere and my life is ruined because of her. Now everyone outside says she's gone insane. They say she's obsessed, trying desperately to save someone who can't be saved. Chen Junyi sneered, doesn't she love you so much? If that's the case, then I'll destroy you. I'll leave her with no hope. He held a knife and pressed it against my face. I didn't resist. I didn't even speak a word. To me, he was no different from Liu Ryan, both pathetic. Seeing my indifference, Chen Junyi became even more deranged. He raised the knife and lunged at me. In a split second, someone pushed him away forcefully. The knife fell to the ground. I glanced at my savior. It was Liu Ryan. Chen Junyi scrambled to pick up the knife, laughing maniacally. He charged at me again. You wretched couple. I'll kill you both. Die together. The knife was inches away, but Liu Ryan stepped in front of me. The sound of the blade piercing flesh echoed. She collapsed onto me. The bodyguards arrived shortly after and subdued Chen Junyi. Liu Ryan's face turned deathly pale. She lifted her head, forcing a weak and strained smile at me. Boda, I finally managed to protect you. Chen Junyi was sent to prison. Liu Ryan made it clear he would never get out for the rest of his life. Liu Ryan's injury was on her waist, but after treatment, she was out of danger. As for me, after this ordeal, I slipped back into a coma upon returning to the hospital. Despite just finishing her surgery, Liu Ryan insisted on staying by my side. Boda, you'll get better. Please don't leave me. I was so tired. My life played like a carousel in my mind, flashing past me over and over. The innocent Liu Ryan, the flawed Liu Ryan. She had taken up a third of my life. And now, I finally saw her regret. The pain in my body suddenly lifted. Just as I heard Liu Ryan screaming desperately for a doctor, a flood of people rushed into the room. They injected me with medication, performed CPR, but none of it worked. Liu Ryan cried out in agony, "Save him. You must save him." The only response was, "Madam Liu, please accept our condolences." She collapsed onto me, holding me tightly, her tears falling onto my skin. But I could no longer feel anything. Liu Ryan, I don't regret loving you. But if there's a next life, I hope I never meet you again. The end. My name is Liu Ryan. I was born in Rome. Money came easily to me. I could effortlessly get whatever I wanted. But all the money in the world couldn't bring my mother back. When I was 10 years old, my mother fell ill and passed away. I no longer had a mother. I began to yearn for love, but my father was always busy with work. I lived in a mansion worth billions, surrounded by countless maids, eating exquisite meals every day, and wearing clothes that poor people could never afford in their lifetime. Yet I wasn't happy. It wasn't until I went to university that I met Boda. He was different from the people around me who only flattered me. He was simple, kind, but also sensitive and insecure. That rainy night, he was bullied and left in a pathetic state on the ground. I didn't know why, but I reached out to him. I never expected that he would fall in love with me just like that. My father didn't want me to marry him because he had no parents and because he didn't match my social status, but I gave him my all. Because he respected me, loved me, and protected me. He was unlike anyone else around me. In university, we made a 10-year pact. I believed we would have many decades together. Even after marriage, we were happy. For the sake of my career, he endured others' ridicule and became a stay-at-home husband. I was grateful to him, so I worked tirelessly. I worked tirelessly just to earn more and more money. I wanted to give him a better life. But in the end, I still betrayed him. Chen Junyi was young, full of energy, and knew exactly how to make me happy. One night after drinking, I cheated. I was regretful and lost. I didn't know how to face Boda. But the thrill of infidelity shamefully made me linger and indulge in it. Boda still didn't know I was sick. He just frowned and remarked on how much weight I'd lost recently. I thought that as long as I hid it well enough and didn't let Boda find out, we could remain the loving couple we had always been. But he kept losing weight, his complexion worsening. Deep down, I had already noticed I should have taken him to the hospital immediately, but caught up in the illicit excitement with Chen Junyi, I failed to act. During that time, he must have been in so much pain. I hate myself for it. Why didn't I realize sooner? Why wasn't I by his side? Later, when I found him, he had grown so thin. But I didn't think he looked ugly. To me, he was still the Boda I loved the most. But he refused to forgive me. I made the mistake. And his unwillingness to forgive me was justified. I spent every penny I had to try to save him, even when everyone called me crazy. But in the end, he left me forever, just like my mother. No one will ever love me again. I regret it so much. Boda, I promise I'll cherish you properly. But there is no if. If there's a next life,